that both teams can score. The question is, who's going to get more involved in that top? Is it going to be Amy Rodriguez for Utah Royals FC? Are we going to see more involvement from Rachel Daly up front, as well as Shea Groom for Houston Dash? Of course, Rachel Daly and Shea Groom both with 2 goals each, right behind Lynn Williams, who leads all goal scorers with 3.
And all 3 of those players 1 assist as well. And of course, we do have some injury updates that we got during halftime. Elizabeth Ball, who had to leave the field early in the first half, replaced by Jonsdottir. She had her leg evaluated, and she's back on the team bench. And Catherine Reynolds, who was hurt in the game against North Carolina earlier today, she tweeted, "Thank you to all the fans that had, worried about her. She had a couple of stitches and a light headache, but she'll be fine."
And so we will have subs here to start the second half. Katie Bowen will come in for Kelly O'Hara. We wondered how many minutes O'Hara would play. And then Aminata Diallo will also come in. She will replace Diana Matheson.
That's 3 subs now for Utah out of a total of 5 that they can use in this game. Dash apparently sticking with their starting 11. Katie Naughton having played every single minute, the only field player for the Dash to play every minute so far in the tournament.
And we are underway here in the second half. Well, things got off to a chippy start in the first half, and already seeing that here in the second as Rachel Daly and Vero getting tangled up. Katie Bowen, of course, from New Zealand, played college soccer at North Carolina. Both teams looking to move on and face Portland in the semifinals. Diallo in her first season here in the NWSL on loan from PSG. Radcliffe, that one knocked away.
And we're in our next to last match day at Zions Bank Stadium in Herriman, Utah. The semifinals next week will move on to Rio Tinto Stadium, which is the normal home for the Utah Royals FC, as well as Real Salt Lake. And it will have a beautiful backdrop as well, and a little less glare.
You cannot complain about the Wasatch Mountains in the background where Rio Tinto's out. That being just 25 minutes away. Great look there at second year James Clarkson. He's a little bit of disbelief on who that was off of.
And I'd love to get his thoughts on that call in the first half where Abby Smith ended up with a yellow on a call that could possibly be a red. I wish we had a ref expert sitting next to us, Josh. That'll be a good one to discuss tomorrow.
They had controversy in the first game on a goal by Rachel Daly that was disallowed.
Though that one we did get a good explanation on,
yes,
right?
Yes. We got that after the game. Well, I'm sure we'll get an explanation after this one as well. First time these two teams met, they scored a total of 6 goals. The highest scoring game so far here in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Quiet at the moment between these two clubs.
And as we saw in the earlier quarterfinal today, it really came down to what? It was the 65th, 70th minute where Portland finally got one back. And of course, it had been against the run of play. I mean, when you have these games that have to have a winner, and we've already seen the parity in this league, right? Already seen how close these tournament games are. But these two teams playing an elimination game for the first time in their club history.
This one played up. Oyster looking for Vasali. Vasali, an excellent first half for the Dash. Mallory Weber on the other side, also a good first half for Utah. Different players having an impact in this one. You could add Nichelle Prince in there for the Houston Dash as well.
Different pair of strike partners for Rachel Daly on either side than she's seen in the tournament so far. Prince getting her first start, joined the team late. She missed the first game for family reasons. but so much to expect from her. She had the opening goal of the 2019 season for the Dash. Got a goal at the Women's World Cup, but couldn't play after that because of a meniscus injury.
Vero. Mazzoli going right at Vero. And that's going to draw the foul. And Vero pushing at Mazzoli. Things getting a little testy here. 2 yellow cards in the opening 10 minutes of this game.
Mazzoli sitting on a yellow from an earlier game.
And Vero will set up as we take a look back.
Mazzoli sticking with her. Vero turning around, getting right in her face. Love the intensity from both of those players.
Mazzoli being a little pest there for Vero. And free kick here for Utah Royals.
Sometimes that's the trick, get under their skin.
Throw them off their game a little bit, get in their head. Vero sends it in, back post, and that one at the spot dies down. Diallo. And she'll lay this back to Bowen. And Bowen will play it all the way back to Smith. Schmidt comes up. Prince. Youngstar plays it back to Smith as she falls to the turf. Not able to keep that in somehow on that far touchline.
Well, able to kick it off the Utah player, kick it off Ratcliffe to send it right back out. Well played by Naughton.
Mazzoli looking for Groom. Groom with the left and just wide. Couldn't get the contact that she needed. Groom a quiet first half. But once again, Mazzoli getting things going for the Dash.
Daly sending it through for the onrushing Groom. Settles with her knee, can't get the shot on frame. Sends it wide, no save for Abby Smith to make. Great pressure from Del Fava. Groom knows she's right on her shoulder, takes that shot maybe a little too early.
Groom in her first year with Houston. Last year was with Reign FC. She was drafted by Vlatko Andonovski in FCKC. Of course, Andonovski is at these games watching these players from all these 8 teams. I guess I should say now 7 teams. Bowen.
You've already shipped North Carolina home, Josh?
I did send them home already. This one played back, Rodriguez. Great look at Amy Rodriguez. 9 goals last season, led Utah Royals FC. Her most in goals since 2014. As there you get a look at Craig Harrington in his first year. Last 2 seasons, he was an assistant coach with the Red Stars.
Houston really shutting down Amy Rodriguez in the first half. She needs the ball at her feet more if they're going to be effective.
Got to hand it to the game plan of James Clarkson tonight. And a great look at Rachel Daly. She will play up, she will play back. She will bring definitely intensity for the Houston Dash.
We've said it before, or rather James Clarkson has said it, as Rachel goes, the Dash go.
Zolli plays it out wide, and no one there.
Great article today on equalizersoccer.com highlighting one impact player of each of the 8 teams, and of course Rachel Daly was the player mentioned for Dash.
Daly, of course, has led the Dash the last 3 years in scoring. 2018, she had 10 goals, was named second best 11. Daly represented England in the World Cup this past year.
It's probably a big reason why she didn't have more goals last year. She was gone a fair stretch playing for England.
Oyster. Groom. Nice pass down the line to Hansen. Hansen, near post. And that one goes off of Utah, and here a throw for the Dash.
Dash getting closer at finding their touch in the final third.
Groom. Vasali. Seeing Groom here active more in this second half. As we'll take a look back at this.
Hansen throw in, back flick from Daly. Groom getting a touch over to Vasali in traffic. She collides with Jan's daughter, kind of gets sandwiched by two players. Easy save for Abby Smith to make.
Shea Groom, 2 goals in this Challenge Cup. Both her and Rachel Daly with 2 goals. Only team to have players that have multiple goals so far. Chapman. Looking for Prince, and that's going to be too far. And this will roll out for a goal kick. Del Fava, the rookie. Labonta. You get back to Del Fava, coming up as Hansen, and wins the ball for the Dash. Groom in the channel. Sends it across, back post. And Bowen plays it out. Corner here for Houston.
Important opportunity for the Dash. They have scored off a corner already in this tournament, and we haven't seen a lot of goals come from corners.
Third corner here of the night for Houston. As Abby Smith lines up her teammates, and now Mewis will line up on the far side. Zolly sends it right back near post. That one nearly snuck in. I think Smith was caught off guard for a moment.
What a reaction by the keeper out of Texas. And great thinking by Vasali to get that one touch. Why not take the shot, get it on target? Smith was not ready for that, but she did an excellent job stretching and keeping it out of the net.
And now Christy Mewis will come to the near side. Of course, there's always some jostling going on. And now it looks like we'll get the go-ahead. Things starting to heat up a little bit for the Dash. And Groom saying she was pushed over by Amy Rodriguez.
Danielle Chesky calling both players over for a little chat. I think she's going to make them shake hands or something.
Groom saying she was pushed. Rodriguez saying no push.
It's a little pushing on both sides.
Definitely a little back and forth, and you always see that. Sun setting behind, almost completely dark here. Both teams looking for that first goal. And now it looks like Lola Bonta was the player down in the netting for Utah.
I'm surprised in a way that Chesky hasn't issued another yellow at this point.
This one lands on top.
But of course, many fans remember the 2017 final between North Carolina and Portland, where she issued very few, if any, yellows. Not sure if Shea Groom maybe got a hit or
maybe some grass in the mouth.
Yeah,
turf
that's
in the
what I
mouth.
was thinking. Yeah, some maybe turf pellets in the eye. I don't know.
But things picking up here between Utah and Houston as Abby Smith sends this away to midfield.
10 players sitting on a yellow card. Of course, only 2 of those yellows coming in this match, but coming in the first 10 minutes.
We have yet to see one here in the second half. We thought we might see one. For Utah, they've used 3 subs in this game. Houston yet to use one as Del Fava sends it away. Ratcliffe plays it out. Bowen in the corner. Quick throw by Houston. Ratcliffe. This one sent away by Naughton into the stands.
No ball kids at this tournament, but I do like that they have balls placed along the sideboards for players to pick up. And we're hitting that point, Josh, where we tend to see subs coming, at least from a team that hasn't subbed yet.
Diallo looking for Rodriguez. Offside flag up. Hansen backs up. Oyster. That one goes over the head of Jonstadter.
Plenty of time for Abby Smith to settle that down.
Jonstadter was a first half substitution. Elizabeth Ball had to leave for an injury, but Jen, you talked about this a little bit earlier. She's back on the bench and she is all right.
Same for Catherine Reynolds, a few stitches after a knock to her head in the match against North Carolina.
Bowen. Prince sidesteps Bowen, plays to Schmidt. The Canadian. Comes near side. Hansen. Hansen cuts inside of Weber. Hansen with room to roam. Hansen moving from the right side all the way to the left side. Now she'll have to retreat back to her right back spot. Naughton and Oyster, a solid game in the back row for Houston today, doing an excellent job on Brittany Ratcliffe and Amy Rodriguez. Jonstadter will play this out to safety. Some momentum here in the last 7 minutes, building for Houston. Groom. And she just trips over the ball, allows Labonta to take possession. Bonta looking up for Rodriguez. Dangerous play by Campbell coming out. And now turning away is Oyster.
Oyster turning around to see her keeper is well out of position. Jane got back up as quickly as she could.
Good job there by Oyster, turning and holding on to the ball. If Campbell mistimes this is going to give one of the most dangerous goal scorers a chance.
Campbell's foot gets there first, thankfully sends the ball wide, and Oyster is there to settle it and prevent Amy Rodriguez from getting a touch to it, but dangerous play.
Well, you go back to that game for Sky Blue where Campbell came out, played a dangerous ball that went right to the foot of Naho Kawasumi, and she was able to chip it over Campbell and in for a goal. Sky Blue would go on to win that one, 2-0. That time, Campbell able to get that one far enough away as Weber plays it in. Rodriguez back to Diallo. Bowen, and that one too high for Weber. And we will have another sub here for Utah. We'll take a look back at this replay. Rodriguez plays it to Diallo. Bowen into the area.
Weber can't quite get there. She's in the right place almost, just a step off. And here comes the rookie Sierra King. She had the equalizer against Houston in their opening match. This will be the most minutes she's seen all tournament.
Sierra King is subbed on in every game but one here in this Challenge Cup. First player out of NC State drafted into the NWSL. Player that left with 43 goals in college. Weber. Looking back post, and that one headed up by Chapman.
Christy Mewis doing so much box-to-box work in this game. You totally understand why Vlatko Ananoski has been paying attention and invited her to the Talent ID camp last December. A good 5 years, basically, since her last U.S. call-up.
Soccer fans, the official shop of the NWSL is now open. Visit NWSLshop.com now and sign up to be the first to receive special offers and promotions. NWSLshop.com, the official place to gear up and support your favorite team.
At this point, Josh, Utah's gone more than 300 minutes without scoring a goal, and Houston isn't too far behind them. Over 280 minutes without scoring a goal. Doesn't matter if you know that penalties are a possibility to advance. You want to find your scoring touch. And we did see 4 goals in the second half the last time these teams played.
The service into the area. Hits off 2 players. Del Fava able to get her head on that. And now Campbell plays it out, looking for Rachel Daly up front, and Bowen will simply play this out past the far touchline. Campbell saw Daly up front, looking to take advantage. Vazzali hip and hip with Jonstadter, and Jonstadter now will have to play it out.
Still no subs for the Houston Dash. James Clarkson sitting on a potential 5 subs if he wants it. But if he feels this 11 is working right, maybe you don't want to change it.
Just because you have 5 subs doesn't mean you have to use them.
And the team probably got its most rest since arriving in Utah between their game Monday, their early game Monday, and this late game Friday. Or Sunday, sorry. All of our days are mixed up now.
Del Fava looking for King. See how King here and Amy Rodriguez link up, but Daly dispossesses the ball from Del Fava. Back post, she was searching for Vazzali, headed down by Mewis. Vazzali had an excellent second game against OL Reign. And today, she is having a fantastic evening here against Utah Royals FC. Second start for Bri Vazzali.
And this time in more of a frontline position than midfield.
Jonstadter, Corsi, Vero, Weber looking for Bowen. We've had some close calls here in the second half. No yellow cards handed out in the second. We had 2 in the first 10 minutes. Oyster was pulled to the ground by Katie Bowen there.
A lot of chats that Danielle Chesky is handing out, but not a lot of cards.
We will have our first Houston sub. Veronica Latsko will come in for Nichelle Prince.
Prince having a solid 70 minutes for Houston tonight. Had a great look in the first half, getting almost a shot on target. The post kind of defended the shot she took. Her most minutes so far in the tournament.
And we will have that sub now as Veronica Latsko will come on for Nichelle Prince. And Oyster still slow to get up. The trainer's going to have to come out for this.
So we may end up seeing a sub for Houston's defense as well.
If that were to happen, you'd have to think maybe Allie Prysock would come in.
Played many games last season at center back, has played a little bit outside back in this tournament as well. But that would not be an unfamiliar position to throw her into. Latsko with 4 goals in her rookie season in 2018, a 4th round draft pick. Had a great start to 2019 before injuring her ACL last May. Recovered enough to have a nice run in the offseason with Australia's W League.
She had 3 goals in the W League this offseason. And Oyster able to stretch it out, you hope, is just one of the ones where she just stretched her body a little bit funny. Contorted in a weird way. That could change things here for James Clarkson, and specifically who he might want to sub in. We've seen
but he is talking to Cece Kaiser there. Don't think that's who you would put in as at center back. Perhaps they've already sent Prysock to the middle table. We'll see.
Like Houston will at least check on Megan Oyster before they do make that official sub. If that's what they choose to do, as Daly's tripped up from behind by Labonta.
I'm really surprised at this point, Josh, we haven't seen a yellow card in the second half.
We could have seen a yellow card for both sides. Labonta running into the leg of Rachel Daly. It was physical in the first one, and it's physical once again. Both teams looking for that win to move on to face Portland next Wednesday. As we take a look back at the replay, it was on Daly's follow-through that she got the heel of Labonta. Now a chance here for Sophie Schmidt on the free kick.
Schmidt with newly purple hair.
Houston wanting a call, not going to get it.
And of course, as we mentioned before, 10 players sitting on yellows. There's the long kick in. Mew is trying to go for it. She's saying she was taken down, but the call goes to the goalie. Long kick from Abby Smith.
Hansen. And so right now, Houston without Megan Oyster for a moment. Schmidt slid back into the center back spot. And then we have another collision, this time between Jonstadter and Veronica Latsko, who just stepped on the field for Houston.
Most of the players seem to have a look of disbelief on their face, like, that's not being called? That's not being called?
Diallo sends it forward, going up to get his Schmidt.
And we will be having a sub coming on to replace Megan Oyster. Sounds like Christine Nairn will be coming in. I would assume she would take Schmidt's spot in defensive mid, and Sophie Schmidt would stay back there along with Katie Naughton.
And now we will see Christine Nairn make her appearance, as Megan Oyster already off on the field.
Nairn, an important player if this match does go to penalties. She has converted a penalty in the only PK shootout in NWSL history. Dinah Matheson, on the other hand, she has left the field, so would not be able to take one for Utah.
15 minutes remains, and this one's still scoreless between Houston and Utah. Could possibly see our way to the first game that reaches PKs.
Of course, we've already had 6 1-0 games in this tournament, several of them with the goal coming pretty late. Utah's last 2 games, Josh, they conceded in the 91st minute, they conceded in the 85th minute, both of those 1-0 losses.
Well, we have reached our hydration break here in the second half. We will take one as well. You're watching the NWSL Challenge Cup on Twitch. We've seen a little bit worse here in the second half, and Katie Bowen, I guess, it's just added up over time. And now the first yellow card here in the second half handed out. 3 in this game. Vero scoops it up. Was looking for Ziara King. Ziara King, her lone goal coming in the 89th minute in game 1. That one against this Dash squad. Gonna possibly play hero again, as Chapman is able to play this out for a throw.
And this late in, Josh, 1 goal could be all it takes. Don't think we're going to see 6 goals in this match tonight with, 12 or so minutes left. And this match has been so much more even than the North Carolina-Portland quarterfinal today, which, of course, Portland against the run of play found the back of the net, thanks to, of course, the amazing saves of Britt Eckerstrom. This match has been much more even, pretty even possession. Several fouls on both sides. Utah having slightly better looks on target.
Vero goes outside. Bowen. King. Trying to get around on. Chapman over to help. Latsko plays it away. Bowen. Gonna cut that across. And no one stepped up for Houston. Late coming was Haley Hansen. That nearly gave Mallory Weber a chance to get on the ball. And Ziara King now will get a yellow card, and she's in disbelief. Well, make it 12, Jen.
I can't keep up. There's no more space on my notepad for yellow cards.
Well, will we see 13?
Of course, after this game, all of these yellow cards are cleared. But if anyone gets a second in this game, they're sitting out the semifinal if their team advances. And for King and Bowen and Smith and Mewis, if they get a second in this game, they leave the field immediately.
So King with her first NWSL goal and now her first yellow card. A little surprising one on that, but things have got a little bit chippy.
These might be some makeup yellow cards.
Daly with a chance here, gets around Corsi. Corsi has to pull her to the ground. That is a smart move by Rachel Corsi, and that's going to bring out the yellow.
That's what you call a professional foul, Josh. She knew her choices were to get beat and Rachel Daly have a shot on goal, or take the yellow.
Daly saying she had a clear path to the goal.
Which, as we saw in the first half, that was the argument we've seen on Twitter, is fans saying, well, last person back, clear shot on goal, why wouldn't that be a red? And I think that's what Daly was arguing for as well. Daly taking the ball from Corsi, Corsi pulling her down from the back.
Looks like Gunny Youngstar would have been able to get over in position, or at least she was close. Maybe that's why for the yellow card.
So there's the 13. 13 people sitting on a yellow, Josh. Baker's dozen.
Now a chance here as Daly and Naren line up. Naren, near post, and that one sneaks wide.
So close. You can tell she's not happy with that one. We can see what she was trying to do. Go low and near post, make it really difficult for Abby Smith to get over and down quick enough. Of course, Smith has had some great saves in this game.
Naren, and Naren tripped up. No yellow that time. That would be a good thing for Amy Rodriguez.
She is sitting on a yellow from a previous game.
Zali. Daly, and Daly offside.
Daly, the tournament leader in offside calls. And Josh, we're less than 10 minutes away from what would be a penalty kick shootout if there is no winner at the end of regulation. No extra time in these quarterfinal matches. Game goes straight to a penalty kick shootout, best of 5. Sudden death if necessary. And you have to use the players that are on the field when the whistle blows at the end of regulation.
Rodriguez playing it back inside, looking for King. Vero. Vero pauses. Weber. Weber going at the end line. And this one played away. For Utah, they have 1 sub remaining. For Houston, they have 3. Like we could possibly see our first game here in the quarterfinals go to PK. Diallo plays this all the way back to Corsi. Corsi there pressured by Groom and Daly. All it could take is one mistake in one team to be able to set up a good counter.
Utah having a slight edge in possession in this game. Basically 53 to 47%. But it has been back and forth all night.
Lewis. Daly. Going back inside. Chapman. Lewis looking to give that to Chapman up front. Groom also there. Bonta able to push it up to Vero. That one chopped out momentarily. Latsko unable to get back on top, but Naren finds her way in control. And then players dive into the turf. Groom and Del Fava and Abby Smith, 3 players down. And now the trainer will have to come out to Groom. It looked like Del Fava might have gotten her with her leg when she came down to the turf. We've already seen 5 yellow cards in this one.
Rachel Daly running over immediately to check on Shea Groom.
And Groom able to get up. Both these keepers, one clean sheet so far here in this Challenge Cup. We'll take a look back.
Nairn starting the play, sending the ball through to Groom. Delfava right there. Hard to see the contact from that angle.
It might have even been Abby Smith's leg
Right.
that got Groom.
It seems like she kind of got sandwiched between Delfava and Smith.
As we will have a sub here as Cece Kaiser will come in for Shea Groom. Cece Kaiser, the second-year player out of Mississippi. Kaiser did start one game here in this NWSL Challenge Cup.
The most used sub for Houston Dash last season as a rookie. She's talked about learning patience, you know, wanting to be a regular starter, but learning so much from the players she's playing with.
Just a little bit more than 2 minutes remains. Of course, we will have stoppage time. One of these two teams looking for a late goal as Vero possesses the ball. Looks for King. King with a little bit of room, and Campbell off to cover that one up, making sure the rookie cannot get possession of that ball or a chance to chip it over. Campbell knew exactly what she wanted to do when that ball went into the area, and she sprinted right for it, keeping King away from that ball.
Way to come off her line, but not put the goal at risk.
Kaiser with her first touch. Plays it out to Latsko.
And of course, Campbell's got to be thinking we're getting close to penalty kicks. She had to face a lot of penalty kicks last season, Josh. She set a record for most PK saves in one season. Of course, those are penalties in regulation, not a shootout situation, which are officially referred to as kicks from the spot. And I remember her talking last spring about, she's like, I don't want this record. Can we just not have so many penalty kicks? This, of course, a penalty kick shootout, kicks from the spot, is to determine a winner. None of those count as official goals. It's just a tiebreaker. The game is still recorded as a draw, but we've still got time. A little bit of regulation left. Of course, we'll have some stoppage with a few of the injury breaks and the hydration break we saw and the subs.
Kaiser dropping it back. Latsko.
Dash can still make 2 more subs. Utah can still make 1 sub in case they're thinking, oh, here's a player who's a little bit better at taking penalties.
Chapman walking away from that. Basically almost a body check right there. Just 2 players colliding once again.
And it was in stoppage time that Utah conceded a goal to Reign. Reign's only goal of the first round. They also conceded late to Chicago, whereas in Utah's last 2 losses, they were conceded in the first half.
We are told that we will have 5 minutes of stoppage time added on in this one. This game has been very physical. 5 yellow cards handed out, as Vero is the player that's slow to get up for Utah. As we take a look back at what happened, and there you see Chapman going in hard, takes Vero out at the legs. Utah does have one sub remaining, and Chapman handed a yellow card.
Everybody gets a yellow card, Josh.
6 yellow cards on the night. And Vero still on the ground.
And of course, this will add stoppage to stoppage.
Scoreless here between Houston and Utah. Winner will move on to the semifinals to take on Portland. That will be on Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. That'll be the early game of the two at Rio Tinto Stadium. And then, of course, finals will be on Sunday. That one also at Rio Tinto Stadium. That one, the 26th at 12:30 p.m.
And this match, Josh, has seen more yellows than any other match in this tournament so far with 6. We had seen a couple with 4.
Is that 14 players now between these two teams with yellow cards?
Yeah.
And told that Rachel Daly might have a dislocated finger, so she's getting checked on.
Just tape it to the rest of her hand. She'll be fine.
And Vero able to get up. And you're hoping that she can just walk off so she can return to the game. And I think that's really what Craig Harrington's waiting for, is can she continue, or are we going to have to use that final sub?
He's got to feel relieved. He's got a sub to use, especially after having to sub Elizabeth Ball early in the first half.
And Vero able to walk it. You just hope this is where her leg got tangled up, and it's just a slight sprain, and she'll be able to walk it off, maybe jog on the sideline. Rodriguez asking.
She could come off the field and they not replace her, and she could walk back on when she's feeling better, still participate in the penalties. But if she is subbed off, that's it.
And now Abby Smith, we've seen her do this throughout the tournament, right near midfield, looking to send this one down into the area. Smith. Headed up. Chipped on, and Campbell able to gather this in, and now Corsi slow to get up. And Corsi looks like she'll be fine as she is helped up by Amy Rodriguez.
Seems like both teams equally frustrated. You almost wish they didn't have to stay in their separate bubbles post-game, that they could go somewhere and just, relax and complain together about the frustration of the games.
Campbell sends it away. Corsi drops it back for Smith. Right in pursuit. Daly was there. Like maybe Latsko on the other side, as well as Naren pops this high into the sky. High hop. And that last touch by Corsi, this should be a corner kick here for the Dash. And hustling down is Christy Mewis, knowing that time could expire any minute. Looking for one last corner and possibly that goal that could give the Dash the win. Looped in, and that one over. I don't know if Smith got a piece of that one. That one was curling in.
Probably a little more stoppage to go, Josh, since we've had some delays within the 5 minutes of stoppage time.
We're looking like we could be headed for our first chance at PKs, as Abby Smith clears it to midfield. Chapman off a King. Daly. Another corner here for the Dash.
Smart play by the English international, bouncing it off one of the Utah players in her vicinity to get the quick corner. Keep possession of the ball, keep it down on the end. Give her teammates time to press forward.
Mewis lines up. Schmidt plays it back. Chapman. Hansen trying to poke that wide. Come to the feet of Diallo. Diallo looking for Weber. And Schmidt wins that ball for the Dash.
Or Nairn, actually, Christine Nairn. We could hear that collision with Mallory Weber.
Latsko unable to get that before it passes out across the end line. Time ticking down and stoppage here. Winner moves on to play Portland on Wednesday. Smith sends it forward. Farrell looking for A-Rod. And there is the whistle to end regulation. And for the first time here in this NWSL Challenge Cup, we will go to PKs between Utah and Houston, as we will have more action for you in this one, as these two teams will head to PKs, scoreless here at the end of regulation. We'll be right back on Twitch.
Ash to Brianna Brivazali, comes in the middle, gets it over to Nichelle Prince, switches to her right foot, gets the shot off, but hits the post. Best chance for the Houston Dash in the first half. Second half, corner for the Dash, lofting ball from Mewis. They can't get it down, but Bazali takes a shot from distance, and Smith has to stretch at the last minute to keep that out of the goal.
Well, Bazali contributing tonight once again for the Houston Dash as we go to PKs for the first time in quarterfinals. Winner of this will move on to play Portland on Wednesday. Portland beating North Carolina earlier today, 1-0. Britt Eckerstrom was amazing in that one. Morgan Weaver with her first career NWSL goal as we get set here for PKs.
And this is just the second game in NWSL history, Josh, to have a PK shootout. They're only in the playoffs, obviously, and we only have 3 playoff games a year. It was the 2016 final between Western New York Flash and Washington Spirit. They went to PKs with the Flash edging the Spirit 3-2. We do have one player on the field that was in that shootout.
Of course, our secret virtual watch party powered by Google Meet. Fans getting into it. First time seeing PKs coming up.
I don't know if they're going to be able to survive this after all those yellows, all those close calls, and now we've got penalties. Jane Campbell holds the record for most PK saves in one season with 4 last year. Of course, those not all coming at the same time.
Well, 6 goals the first time between these two teams. 0 in this one. And
very even match.
And now whoever wins this PK battle will move on to the semifinals.
Jane Campbell, Abby Smith, former U23 teammates, giving the little fist bump. Danielle Chesky, the referee, explaining this is how it's going to work. We don't know yet who kicks first. She may be still in the process of doing they do a separate coin toss for that. And I'm sure you remember, Josh, from last summer with the Women's World Cup, all of the calls for penalties, even during regulation, of players moving too quickly, because for the first time there's actually a camera watching for that millimeter being off the line.
Luckily, we do not have that camera in place, so that will be something we will not be worrying about. And it looks like Amy Rodriguez will head up first for Utah.
A-Rod scored the first penalty kick goal in Utah history last year. Game winner last May. I think that was against Washington. And of course, the captain for this game.
So A-Rod will head to the spot, and she'll just have to wait the go-ahead. Has some final instructions here. And now she'll place it down as Jane Campbell will set up between the sticks. A-Rod first to go for either team. And she sends it off the crossbar, too high for Rodriguez.
Nothing for Jane Campbell to do there, though she seemed ready for that ball.
And now,
right-footed shot, bullet to the bar, and out. You can't play the rebound on this like you can in regulation. And Sophie Schmidt, oldest player on the Dash team, stepping up. She's taken penalties in NWSL before, but not since 2014 when she played for Sky Blue.
Schmidt will have the first try for the Dash. And Schmidt goes to the right, and she has the first one on the board for Houston. Abby Smith guessed the wrong way, and Smith able to finish.
To the corner, not too much pace, but well placed. Took her time, sends her love to the Dash bench. And I'm guessing by those socks it's Lo LaBonta. Yes, it's Lo LaBonta.
Second person up for Utah Royals.
Her first time taking a PK.
And Campbell got a piece of that, but LaBonta able to get it by.
Well read by Campbell, but too much pace on it. LaBonta gets Utah into the shootout mix. Right-footed bullet, almost to the middle. A little bit to the right. Jane was already moving, did get a hand on it, but couldn't keep it out.
Just barely got it with that left hand. Maybe
Christine Nairn, she is the player from the 2016 final who converted for Washington Spirit.
And she puts it in the left corner. And now both players that have stepped up for Houston have connected.
Big smile for Christine Nairn. Left-footed shot. She could use either foot. She goes with her left. Harder for Abby Smith to read. No time to react. More about placement there, Josh, than power.
And now that will bring up the Scottish captain, Rachel Corsi.
Her first NWSL attempt. Sorry, PK attempt in NWSL.
And that one denied by Jane Campbell as she blocks it off to the right. Big save there for Campbell.
Big smile from that PK record holder. She might be happy about all those PKs she had to face last year. Lunging save, she read that well. Got up, got both hands on it to send it wide.
First save for either keeper, as now Rachel Daly will step to the spot.
One of the Dash co-captains this year, 3 for 3 from the spot previously in NWSL play.
Daly. And that one gets by Smith. Smith was able to get her hands on it, but enough power behind that shot from Rachel Daly.
Well read by Abby Smith, but too much power. Right-footed shot. Smith can't keep it out of the net, though she did jump to the right side and get her hands on it. Josh, what this means with 3 good penalties for Dash, Utah has to make this penalty to remain alive. Otherwise, Dash are going to the semifinal.
And that will bring up rookie Zierra King. King looking to find the back of the net. And she sneaks that one down in the low left corner to keep Utah's hopes alive.
Well placed, almost mimicking Daly's shot. Jane in the right vicinity, but too much pace on that. Well played by the rookie to keep Utah alive.
And that brings up Bri Fazali for we
go to the semis.
And that one stopped by Smith. Smith lays out to prevent Fazali from finding the back corner.
Just when we thought this game couldn't get any crazier, Josh. Great save by Smith, getting down to her right, getting her whole body behind it so that ball bounces out.
You can see the fist pump from Abby Smith as Vero now steps up.
Vero has 1 NWSL PK in her career back in 2014 when she was playing for Portland. She must convert this for Utah to remain in the game. Otherwise, Houston is advancing.
Vero. And that one stopped by Jane Campbell, and Houston will move on to the semifinals to take on the Portland Thorns. And you can see what that game means. That save by Jane Campbell right there to help send the Dash on to face the Portland Thorns. A disappointing end for the Utah Royals, but a hard-fought game, a physical game. Our first one in PKs as players just tumble on to the top of Jane Campbell.
I love the celebration. I love the joy from this team. First time both of these teams have played in a knockout game in NWSL. First time for Dash to advance. Our only second penalty kick shootout in league history.
You can see
both keepers making saves, Josh.
The disappointment on Vero there as the Challenge Cup is over for Utah Royals FC, but it will continue for the Houston Dash. And what a game this was between these two clubs as we will take a look back at the highlights.
So many highlights. First half, late in the first half, this is probably Dash's best shot on goal. Fazali making the run through the middle, sending it over to Prince, switches to her right foot, gets the shot off, but the post saves it. And then the deflection off Abby Smith to keep it away from a Dash foot. Second half, corner coming in. No one can keep it down, but Bri Fazali making the run from deep, getting that shot off. And Abby Smith making the save of the game. Penalty kicks, final penalty kick. Nope, Jane Campbell says, I know how to stop penalties. Sorry, we're going to the semis.
Huge save there to push Houston Dash on to the semifinals at Rio Tinto Stadium. As we take a look at the stats, fairly even. You're looking at shots on goal, 2-1 for Utah, possession in favor of Utah Royals FC. This one went down to the wire. We had 6 yellow cards handed out in this one.
Possibly a league record. I'll have to look it up, but very similar stat-wise to their first game, other than not seeing any goals.
And Houston with the win, though, coming in PKs. Schmidt able to convert, Nairn able to convert, and then obviously you had Rachel Daly, and then the big save at the very end from Jane Campbell to push the Dash on.
2 saves for Jane Campbell. And that's got to make her feel so much better than thinking about some of the goals that she conceded. Look at the smile on James Clarkson's face.
Little peek inside the team huddle there. And now we will take a look at the bracket and what's to come here tomorrow. But we have one side of the seating all set for Wednesday.
Portland upsetting North Carolina earlier today. Houston getting by Utah on penalties. So Houston-Portland semifinal in the early game next Wednesday. That's going to be a good one.
And tomorrow we're at it again with rain in Chicago at night, Washington and Sky Blue. Another great day coming your way. But what a way to finish this one. It took longer than 90 minutes for Houston to come out on top in PKs 3-2 as they will move on to the semifinals. So more action for them coming Wednesday, but we'll have more for you tomorrow right here for our crew. Jen Cooper, I'm Josh Toll. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Twitch.